Board of Directors of the Greater Brownsville Incentive Corporation. Pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Greater Brownsville Incentive Corporation, established under the predecessor statute, Article 5190.6 of the Texas Revised Civil Statutes, particularly Section 4A of same, to Chapters 501, 502, and 504 of the Texas Local Government Code, will convene on Tuesday, May 14th at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Item number 1, call to order.
I will now call this meeting to order.
Mr. Chair, I'd like the floor, please.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. For the purpose of our new viewing audience, this is the new format in which we will be taping now our meetings and bringing them to the public's light, sharing them with light. This is also another form of transparency, also from the standpoint of our director to the board of directors to our staff, that the citizens be involved and that they also be able to understand what's going on. The same way that they get to view city commission, that they also get to view what's going on with their GBIC board, and so that when different opinions arise around the city, there's always not just our recordings, but that there's also a videotape recording that people can turn back to for said information. So with that in mind, thank you, Mr. Chair, and we will continue with this meeting. Thank you.
Commissioner.
Item number 2, public comments. We have one public comments, Griselda Munoz from CK Technologies.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here with you on behalf of CK Technologies, a company I'm truly proud to represent, and equally important as a company in partnership with Jpeg. I would like to give a brief introduction to our company. CK Technologies is one of 9 businesses that comprise the Cascade Engineering family of companies, a privately held, woman-owned family business. Christina Keller, our president and CEO, is the daughter of Fred Keller, who started the company in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1973. We are a manufacturing company specializing in plastic injection molding, paint, and assembly of large parts. CK Technologies produces large interior and exterior parts for large trucks. Our customers include Packard, parent of Peterbilt and Kenworth, Navistar, parent of International, Daimler Trucks of North America, parent of Freightliner and Volvo Trucks. We paint these components, offering a choice of 15,000 colors. When our customers make a substantial investment like this, they can have a truck painted at any color they want. Our relationship with Jpeg started with a visit to Brownsville in 2010. Company executives were looking for a manufacturing site that would be closely located to their largest customer, Navistar International, located in Escobedo, Nuevo León, Mexico. They quickly learned that Jpeg was most interested in understanding our needs before showing us a location. They did their homework and explained that Brownsville could provide more reliable electricity rates, knowing that electricity is a substantial cost driver in the manufacturing industry. They also explained resin, which comprises 50% of the material cost for injection molders, will be lowered when shipped from Houston to Brownsville. So our partnership with Jpeg started from day one. I was fortunate to be hired as the manager of human resources on day one at CK Technologies, a new 300,000 square foot facility. I personally want to thank Jpeg for their partnership with the CKT, which provided me with this wonderful opportunity. We are a triple bottom line company, and that means every strategic decision we make is based on having a positive impact on people, planet, and profit. It starts with people. We want every individual we employ to know their value as human beings. Therefore, we have developed different policies, such as our anti-racism policy, the second chance employer policy, and also a scholarship program available to all employees and family members. We believe these policies have a great impact in our company and our community that address poverty, crime, and education. We also believe that business has an opportunity to develop strong bonds within the communities where we operate. By working together with community leaders and local organizations like Jpeg, city, state, and federal government, local schools, training, and vocational centers, colleges and universities, we can provide jobs and assist in developing curriculums that will align the skills we need to provide careers for people in Brownsville and the surrounding area. This collaboration was exemplified at the recent GBIC press conference held at CK Technologies a few weeks ago. We heard of Frank GBIC Executive Director Mario Lozoya say, establishing internships and externships between educational institutions and companies like CK Technologies to help grow the local workforce the industry depends on by steering young people toward a technical trade early on, a program known as P-Tech, Pathways in Technology, Early College and High School, has been established here. We also heard U.S. Representative Filemon Vela say he's working with GBIC, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, Texas State Technical College, Texas Southmost College, and local school districts to move workforce development forward so Valley industrial employers can hire homegrown workers. We have children that are coming out of high school and who are not going to go to college, who are very capable of doing this job. We just have to do everything we can to make sure that we connect the dots. We also heard Christina Keller, Cascade Engineering President and CEO, say, the power of collaboration is evident here today. Together, we're creating a bright future for the people, the community, the schools, and businesses in Brownsville. Thank you to Mario and to the GBIC staff for your efforts, not only bringing CK Technologies to Brownsville and providing me with this opportunity of a lifetime, but in your tireless pursuit of crafting a collaboration between our community, city, state, and federal government, schools, and businesses that will provide all of us with a bright future, secure future in a city we're so proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to express my sentiments to not only CK Technologies on behalf of the GBIC board, but also on behalf of the City Commission. If it weren't for your involvement with just the structure alone, we can begin with that. Just the structure alone where you're at. A lot of people thought that that building would never be used again, that it was something that this city was never going to use again. And to my understanding, you've taken the majority of it. So you've put something that was a very big eyesore for the city and made it into something so positive. So thank you not only for the jobs that you provide for our community, but for also believing in our community and investing in it. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to clarify that the agreement between CK Technologies and the city and GBIC was done way before my time in 2010. But however, we were fortunate to be able to work together and help them expand to the point that they've added over 200 Brownsville citizens into their workforce within the last few months. And that's indicative of the ability of Brownsville to produce a workforce pipeline for the purpose of expanding local business. And CK Technologies is a perfect example of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munoz.
Item number 3, consent agenda items. Item A, approval of minutes of the regular board meeting, March 21, 2019.
The meeting didn't happen, right?
This one
This
is.
one.
Oh, this one, I'm sorry, this is.
This
I'm
is for
sorry.
March.
I'm so sorry. Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I'm off on my months.
Item B, claims approval and acknowledgement.
I have a motion to approve.
We're gonna,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jorge Santillan. Do you have any questions on the claims?
No, sir.
anything else to report?
The financials after.
Okay. Move to acknowledge.
I have a motion to acknowledge. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 4, discussion and acknowledgement of GBIC financial report.
Good evening. On page number 1, we have the overview, the summary of the financials. Beginning with, on the top left, we have the balance sheet. We have the total assets, $13,793,722, minus liabilities of $12,261, equals or total net assets of $13,781,461. The majority of the assets being in the investments and the cash, and then the accounts receivable. On the left side, on the right side, the top right side, we have the income statement. We have revenues, $176,427. Total expenses, $6,001,067, resulting in expenses over revenues of $2,824,639. On the left side, bottom left, the fund balance, the breakdown of the fund balance, we have the undesignated fund balance of $7,236,401, and the designated fund balance is $6,545,060. The total fund balance, $13,781,461. On the right bottom portion, we have the sales tax collections. Even though the month of April, we show a decrease of 5.7 decrease compared to last fiscal year. For the year, we have a total increase of 4.75% increase. So from October through today, compared to last year, we have a 133,634 increase compared to last year. This is an overview of the financials. The other information, is backup, unless you want me to go over it, or you have any questions.
I do, sir. At the last meeting, I spoke with Mr. Granados, and I'd just like to remind city staff as well as our legal of that pending $1 million issues that we have. And I'd like to resolve it. I know we've been going back and forth, but if we can resolve it as soon as possible, that'd be great. Because I do see that every month it just keeps going down.
I was told by Mr. Granado that the city manager's office is aware of this, but I don't have an update to provide to you.
Okay.
But they're aware of this.
Yes, sir.
We did have a meeting in that regard, and it's something that we need to visit with the board in regards to some possible resolutions. I know that there's been a couple ideas thrown about as to how to be able to resolve the issues, and it's something we intend to inform the committee, and so that you all can make a decision on which way to go.
Perfect.
Did we get the copy of the contract we asked for?
We do have it. Yeah, legal did get a copy of that, and I'll be happy to share.
Okay, thank you.
Would you acknowledge?
I acknowledge.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Cardenas?
Yeah, I have a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, sir.
Item number 5, discussion and acknowledgement of GBIC quarterly investment report.
Yes, on this, on the investments, on page number 1, on the very last column, we have the balances on the investments. The demand deposits, the money is held in the depository BBA Compass. They totaled at the end of March 31st, $1,163,406. Then the investment pools, the Texas class, 8.7 million. Then the tax pool, 5.5 million. The total investment pools total is 14,303,423. The total investments, cash and investments, it's 50,466,829. The following page, number 2, we have the weighted average maturity and yield. Of course, the deposits in the depository, they're liquid investments, one-day maturity. On the pools, even though we can retrieve the money at any time, we need to use the maturities that the pools have. But even though it says 26 days here and 44 for the tax pool, but we can retrieve that money same day. They're very liquid investments. On the very bottom, you see the weighted average yield. On our investments, the Jpeg investments, the yield through March was 2.32%. We used the 3-month T-bill as a benchmark. The benchmark was 2.35%, so we were very light, slightly below that benchmark, only 0.003% below the benchmark. And then the last page, we have the allocation of the investments. Again, most of the investments are in the pools, in the investment pools, and then the 7.52% in the cash demand accounts. That's the end of the the investment report.
Would you acknowledge?
A motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hussein.
Item number 6, discussion and acknowledgement of GBIC Executive Director and staff reports.
Mr. Chairman and GBIC Board, as you know, we did not have a GBIC Board meeting last month. That's why this particular report is a little lengthy. But if I can direct your attention to page 2 of the report, which is it's more populated with recent items. Top 2 items, you can see how we're began to record the meetings that we have with city executives, in this case with city manager and deputy city manager, to the point that I've asked also Ms. Janie Velasquez here to create a spreadsheet of every time we do that, because my purpose is to make sure that we are meeting with executive officers of the city of Brownsville for, as a board member and Commissioner Longoria alluded to earlier about transparency and sharing information on what are we doing, what are they doing, and how can we continue to collaborate. So we've been doing a lot of that. Also, about item number 5, I believe it is there, met with PUB and City of Brownsville. It's another meeting we have with the city, but also we included PUB. That item will be discussing in executive session. Just a reminder, that's one of the items that we'll discuss. Lower in the sheet, you'll see that we had some activity with the Federal Reserve Bank in 2 different occasions. One, participating in a roundtable to share data, local data to the Reserve Bank, and also then we had a presentation from the Reserve Bank. And interesting enough, that in my opinion, in both meetings, about 60% of the total time was dedicated to workforce development, which is an issue that we've been experiencing here. It looks like it's an issue that's experiencing in Texas and the whole country. So just wanted to let you know some of the items that we've been involved with.
Any
questions?
Mr. Montoya?
No.
Move to acknowledge?
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr.
Item number
Lozoya.
7, discussion and action to approve capital expenditure and amend fiscal year 2019 GBIC operations budget to reflect expenditure amount.
This particular item is relevant to a request that we made several meetings prior about a GBIC vehicle. I want to give you an update on that. As you can see on top of the sheet, it says that we send the RFP out twice, in December 12th and also on the May 9th. And the next box that you see, there's the folks that we send the RFP to. See that? And then you can see the responses of the RFP. We also reviewed to Commissioner Longoria's request, review the buy board options, and you can see the buy board options are inserted in this particular document. As you can see also, the vehicles that are available do not meet our requirements. Most of them are trucks. However, there is one down at the bottom, there's a Chevy Tahoe, there's a used Tahoe, but it's not local, it's in Caldwell, Texas. So that we thought that was not feasible either. We did do some internet searches, so you can see what the available stock is in the next box. And then, so based on all this information here, we are requesting your consideration to accept our recommendation to move forward in the purchase of a vehicle that meets our requests, not to exceed $55,000.
Mr. Lozoya, if you could, for public knowledge, let them know why there's a need for a vehicle.
Sure.
When we have prospective clients.
Right, so the need is, and I'll give you some examples as of recent. We had some staff from the governor's office come and visit, and they requested a familiarization tour of the port, the industrial park, and the like. And usually our teams have to take their private vehicles, so it would be very lending if we would have be able to facilitate tours with a GBA vehicle that can facilitate 5+ people. That's one example. We've also made so we often travel in and around the valley, all the way to McAllen and the like, and instead of having to submit travel claims, fuel expenditures and the like, it'd be very much easier if we would just take the company vehicle, if you will, the GBIC vehicle. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we also travel to San Antonio. Austin, right now, for example, is doing legislative session. We have some bills that we're entertaining. We have to go visit our elected officials to make sure that we're being supported. And we also made a trip to Houston recently. We have to rent a vehicle or take private vehicles, and that's just an added expenditure. So we think that by purchasing a vehicle, we can mitigate, one, the timeliness and effectiveness of logistics, and also cost savings long term.
Excellent.
Any other
Any
questions?
other questions?
Move to approve?
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
You have a second?
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 8, discussion and action to amend adopted Jpeg Personnel Policies Manual.
Mr. Chairman and Board, in this particular item, there are two different policy items in the policies manual. One of them is relevant to sick leave, and the other one's relevant to the staff's holiday window. Our request is just to have those two items equal to the same policy as BCIC, which is our partner, our sister economic development office, and also the City of Brownsville. So the City of Brownsville, for example, and BCIC are able to roll over sick leave. GBIC is not able to. And the holiday schedule does not match that of BCIC and the City of Brownsville. The request is for us to just match and be equal to the City of Brownsville and BCIC. That's the request.
I move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 9, discussion and action release of committed funds regarding the following program, UTRGV Manufacturing and Innovation Hub.
This particular item, as you can see on the letter here, there was an incentives agreement made between GBIC and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley on May 12, 2017, effectively 2 years ago, to the potential total amount of $1.7 million. And you understand that when a commitment is made like that, then all those dollars are put into a reserve bank in the financials. To date, we have paid out a total of $750,000. We have not paid out $973,000, and this particular item is relevant to those $973,000. At this point, the UTRGV contract has not been met. The criteria has not been met. So our request is to, one, inform UTRGV that they have not met their required items under the contract, and also inform or allow the City of Brownsville's Finance Department to release the $973,000, so we're not going to pay it out to UTRGV, and move it into the general fund of GBIC. That's a request.
And this was a 2-year contract, is that correct?
It was a 2-year contract. However, within the first year, they hadn't met the requirement.
So they haven't met in the last year completely?
The requirement that they were supposed to achieve has not been achieved. Right.
But they've been falling behind since?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I move to advise staff to continue in discussions and action with our legal and our financial department.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Executive session, item A and B, discussion pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072 regarding the possible exchange, lease, or purchase of real properties where a deliberation in open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body with a third person and consultation with attorney pursuant to Section 551.0712 of the Texas Government Code on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. Item C, consultation with attorney pursuant to Section 551.071-2 of the Texas Government Code on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. Item D, discussion pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.087 to deliberate on Project Sting. Item E, discussion pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074 to deliberate the evaluation of the executive director.
Mr. Chair, I move we go into executive session.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back into regular session.
Oh, one second, Ms. Jean.
I'm sorry.
Just waiting for Mr. Cardenas.
Oh, that's true.
Almost.
coming back out of executive session, item number 10, action on items in executive session. A, no action. B, no action. C, consideration and possible action, if any, regarding Jpeg bylaws.
After review, and I think we're gonna continue with discussion, but for this one, at this moment, I'm gonna table.
I have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
You have a second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, consideration and possible action, if any, Project Sting.
Following the recommendations of the incentives committee and discussion, I move to deny.
A motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E, consideration and possible action, if any, regarding evaluation of executive director.
At this time, I'm gonna table for a future evaluation as we get closer to the 1 year fulfillment of the contract of the executive director.
So I have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to adjourn.
Item 11, adjournment.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.